It's Mother's Day this weekend, and I have to say, all I really want to do is get my flowers planted and the outside of my house looking ready for summer because the front of my house has literally looked like a crime scene with caution tape blocking off my sidewalk for over 2 months now. We had to get our water line replaced because it was leaking, and luckily I had insurance that covered it. But because we're dealing with the water company's vendor, the process has been ridiculously, painfully slow. The line has been replaced for a couple of weeks at this point. They just need to replace the sidewalk that they ripped up. And then we can't fix the landscaping that they messed up until the sidewalk is fixed. So the front of my house is just looking like a hot mess. And I'm really hoping that having my planters filled with flowers will make it less of an eyesore. So I'm really hoping we have a nice weekend because I'd love to get my flowers planted. And if I'm extra lucky, maybe even catch a sunset on the beach because I just love sunsets. I love sunrises a little bit more, but I will take a good sunset. And another exciting day is next week. Mom Life Career Life is turning 1. I still can't believe it. I should throw myself a little podiversary party to celebrate. I'll be doing a fun little countdown on my social with the top couple of podcast episodes this past year. So make sure you check it out. And in honor of my 1 year anniversary and Mother's Day, I'm offering 10% off my 1 month coaching packages now through the end of May. So don't miss out on that deal either. You can check out my website, momwifecareerlife.com, or the link to book your first session is in the show notes. And with Mother's Day being this weekend, I wanted to talk today about how to be the mom you want to be. So let's jump into today's episode. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Carrie, a wife, mom of 3, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. I wanted to be a mom since I could probably talk. They say girls dream about their wedding day. I never did. I dreamt about being a mom. When I was little, we would get the big J.C. Penney catalogs that was like 2 inches thick, and I would literally sit at my kitchen table and I would go through all of the baby clothes and pick out the matching outfits that my twins, a boy and a girl, were going to wear. And then when I hit middle school and probably more closer to high school, my dream of twins changed into wanting 3 boys. I guess going to an all-girls high school had me realizing that I didn't want to deal with teenage girls. But God had other plans for me because now I have 2 of them. I didn't find out what any of the 3 of mine were when I was pregnant. Everyone told me Ashley was a girl. And the reason they said was because girls steal your beauty. Who says that to a pregnant woman? I mean, she did. I gained a ton of weight. My skin got terrible. I had bumps all over my face. And towards the end of my pregnancy, my nose spread. But still, I'll never forget. Russ and I were volunteering one day, and this woman in the group congratulated me on being pregnant and then started pointing to my face saying, "It looks like you're having a girl." She might have actually made me cry because I was so self-conscious and so large at that point. But she was right. I had my girl, and I love that I had a girl first. And when we got pregnant with Kaylee, I prayed that she was a girl because I really wanted Ashley to have a sister that she could be close to. I keep reminding myself these days that they will love each other at some point when they're older, but 2 teenage girls sharing a room is rough. And then I got my boy. Russ only wanted 2. 2 was a handful, so the thought of 3, especially when Russ is a single child, was a little scary for him, but we knew we had the support of my mom, and I really can't imagine life without my sunshine. So my dream of twins turned into 3 boys, and God gave me exactly what I needed, not what I wanted. When we were pregnant, we dreamt about the parents we were going to be, but as kids soon show us, and as Ashley taught me when my Halloween baby showed up a month early, that things don't always turn out the way they think they were. Becoming the mom that you truly want to be is an ongoing journey of self-discovery, growth, and serious intentionality. Today's episode is a little different. My episodes are usually how-tos or step-tos, but today is all about doing some inner work. It's about reflecting. So I really encourage you to re-listen to this podcast when you have time to sit down and write and really take the questions we are going through to heart, because You are here, you are listening to this podcast because you want to be a great mom. You want to balance all the things and you want to balance work in the mix there too, whether by choice or by need. And if you're working your butt off, then what are you working so hard for if not for your family? So please consider this episode your self care for the week. Really take the time to do this work. These questions we are going to go through are to help you build awareness for yourself and to help you create a guide to help you be the mom that you want to be. So let's jump in. The first question you are going to ask yourself is, what kind of mom do I want to be? So just take a few minutes to write down the mom you envision yourself to be. Even if your kids aren't littles anymore, it's not too late to be that mom. And maybe in most ways you are already that mom, but just write it down. The rest of the questions will build on this one. So you don't have to go too deep, but list some qualities that you want to have as a mom. Or if you have qualities that you love, write them down too. The second question you're going to ask yourself is, what values do I want to pass on? Think about the big ideas that you want your kids to carry with them throughout life and how you can live those values every day. There are so many values I wish I could drill into my kids, but the biggest ones for me, I really stress empathy and being kind. I really try to get my kids to see other people's perspectives and situations, get them to understand that everyone's life circumstances aren't different and you don't know why someone acts the way they do. Since they were little, I've never allowed them to say they hate someone. When I say hate has no place in our home, I really mean it. When they get angry at someone, I tell them to pray for that person, even though it can be hard sometimes. Pray that whatever is going on in their life that made them do what they did or act how they act, that God helps them work through it. And I also tell them to try to take a step back to see what they might have done to make that person do something, because no one is perfect. Another value I try to instill in them is helping for the sake of helping and not expecting anything in return, especially when it comes to family. So think about the values you want to pass on to your kids. The third question you're going to ask yourself is, how do I know if I'm winning at this mom game? So you're going to take a few minutes to figure out what success as a mom really looks like to you, not what everyone else thinks it should be. There are no rules. There is no manual, just your thoughts. And take into consideration all of the things on your mom plate. Don't sit there and compare yourself to that stay-at-home mom that has the flexibility to show up to everything and do all the things. Put on those blinders and focus on you. What does it look like in your journey to be successful? The fourth question you're going to ask yourself is, what memories do I want to make? Imagine all the awesome stuff you want to look back on with your kids one day and how you want to make those memories happen. I'm big on making memories, even more so in the past couple of years as I feel like my sand glass is running out of sand. I've always been big on creating traditions, especially around Christmas and their birthdays. And for their birthdays, I always give the kids the option of choosing an experience or having a birthday party. Ashley is turning 16 this year. I can't believe that's happening. And I've told them since they were young that I was not spending money on a sweet 16 party. When I know that money can be spent on something that's longer than 4 hours and will make more memories and actually be more enjoyable for me, I'd rather spend the money there. So I always told the girls, and I guess boy too, when I think of sweet 16s, I just automatically think of girls, that they get to choose where we go on vacation and that year it will be an extra special vacation. So Ashley chose Greece, which I may have strongly encouraged because it's been on my bucket list. So we're going to go to Greece this summer, which we're all very excited about. And thank you, Russ, for planning it because I had zero part in it, except for after he had everything planned, going back and being like, well, why are we doing that? Can we do this instead? So major kudos to him. We also have a family goal this year to have a new experience once a month this year, which we've been keeping it going. Our experience for May is actually our first family camping trip, and we're leaving today. So I'm sure I'll have a little update on how that went for you next week. I love the outdoors. I love nature, the beauty of it, the sounds, but sleeping in it is a whole nother story. And there's rain in the forecast and it's supposed to drop to 40 degrees overnight. So it will definitely be an experience, but I'm all in. As you are thinking about what memories you want to make, also think about the things you don't want them to remember. This was a big wake up call for me. My kids would always say, Daddy is the fun one because Daddy does all the fun things with us. And it's not that I wasn't there for them. I was. I just wasn't the fun one. When we would go to the beach, I wouldn't go that far in the water because the ocean intimidates me. And I have to be that sad person holding their nose every time they go into the water. But the last few years, I really sucked it up and started going in with them and jumping in the waves and getting on the boogie boards instead of sitting back and just taking pictures. So think of instances where you might be behind that camera instead of in front of it and get in that picture. The fifth question you're going to ask yourself is, am I taking care of me too? And you know me, this is one of the most important questions for that work-life balance. Check in on whether you're giving yourself the TLC you need to show up as the mom you want to be. Remember, never feel guilty about taking care of yourself. It is essential. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And it's important to show your kids that you take care of yourself too. You want your kids taking care of themselves. Lead by example. I have no problem saying to my kids that mommy needs to take a walk or mommy needs to take a bath and just relax. They see I've been stressed and I hate them seeing that, but it's reality and they will be stressed in life. They're actually pretty stressed right now with the end of school year testing. Ashley is taking her first AP exam next week and she is feeling it. And I want them to know that there is something they can do to manage that stress. They just need to find what works for them, what helps regulate their nervous systems. They know my go-tos are a walk, a bath, or I love dancing too. So don't think of it as being selfish. Think of it as role modeling healthy habits. The more you take care of yourself, the more you're filling your cup, the better you will show up as a mom and in all aspects of your life, and the more you'll be able to pour into your kids and into your family. So it is not selfish to take care of yourself. The sixth question you're going to ask yourself is, how do I juggle work and mom life? This is what this podcast is all about. So you can at least tell yourself that you're making the effort to improve in this area because you are showing up to listen to the show. But this question is hard because you don't always have control on how work affects all aspects of your life. Even if you were able to close that computer or walk out that door at 5, how is work affecting you mentally? Is it so stressful that you're bringing that stress home with you? Or if you work from home, that it doesn't go away once you close that computer? Are you tired and irritable half the time? So really think about how you are balancing your work and your mom life. And think about the answers we already went through and how work may have impacted your answers there. So this is a big one. I think this is a perfect place to take a pause here on part 1. I know you are all busy moms and I gave you plenty to think about for one day. So make sure you come back tomorrow and listen to part 2 on how to become the mom you want to be. And make sure you come on over and hang out in our free Facebook group, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Life Career Life with Carrie Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it in your Instagram stories and tag me and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out with us in our Facebook community. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Career Life with Carrie Pat.